In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a journal, composition book, planner, etc. on Amazon KDP using Canva. So here's two designs that I have created. I'm waiting for my samples to come in before I make them live, but I'm super excited to make these and see how they do on Amazon KDP. So there's a few things that you're going to need before we get started. First of all, you need to kind of have your elements in place. I'm going to use this beautiful kind of blue and pink impressionist floral design for the cover of the book for this example. You can use a lot of different things. I'm going to put a link to a source that I love to use to find like public domain images that you can use for these. Make sure you have the correct commercial license for anything that you use. You can also find elements in Canva, and I'll show you that in a second. The other things you need are going to be the templates from KDP for your internal pages. You can go to here. This is your paper and hardcover manuscript templates, and download them here. I have downloaded them all, and I promise they're just blank pages in the exact size that they need to be. So I'll show you that in just a second. And then for your cover, that's going to be different based on how many pages you have. So just go into this cover calculator and you can download a template from here. So let's select hardback or paperback. We're going to do paperback. I'm going to do black and white interior with white paper. My page turn direction is always going to be left to right for regular English books. And I'll measure in inches. The size that we're going to use today is 7.5 by 9.25. It's a good size for like a composition book. And then you can choose however many pages you want. I'm going to do 100. It's common to do like 100, 110, 120 for a notebook. And we'll calculate these dimensions. And this will tell you the dimensions that you need, but you also can download that template, and I'll just show you what that looks like here. So it looks great, and we're going to bring it into Canva to use. But the main things that we want to pay attention to are just this kind of overall dimension, and certain things like this spine is pretty small. The black solid line is the trim size, and the blue is the spine fold. The white area is live, and then anything red potentially could get cut off. So you don't want to put anything really close to the edge if you don't mind it potentially being cut off in the trimming process. So before we start uploading it to Amazon, we'll go into Canva and start our design. All right, this is the template that I mentioned for the internal. It's literally just a 7.5 by 9.25 piece of paper. So again, we want to pay attention to, like, on the left and right, you might have some pieces that are kind of in the fold of the book, so you don't want to put anything too crazy, but in general we're designing something really simple here, so we'll just keep it really simple, and otherwise you just need to know this general size, which is 7.5 by 9.25. So in Canva we'll go into create a custom size. We're going to change it to inches and do 7.5 by 9.25 and create our new design. You can then save this as a template, and we'll just name this our blue floral KDP book. We'll do inner page. And I think we just want to do kind of like a ruled notebook, but there are a lot of things that you can search here in your templates. You can do like wide ruled, and there's going to be some of these things already in here for you. You could do a planner template. Let's see, planner pages. This is just like a notes. You could do something like this daily journal, things that made me happy today, something that I learned today, etc. And you can also customize these to whatever colors you want. For instance, if we wanted to do this week at a glance. Then we could select each shape if we wanted to and change the color of it. Of course, if we went to this dark color, we would also have to change the text color to white, but you can do pretty much whatever you want to do here. And what's great is we have 100 pages to play with. So if you wanted to do like a calendar in the beginning, you could even do like calendar pages that are based on every month of the year at the beginning, and then you could just do like a journal type page after that. So I think we want to do just like a regular old kind of wide ruled notepad look. As you can see, a few of these are Canva Pro options. So if you sign up for Canva Pro, I'll have a link in the description of this video, then you can use those elements. However, there are tons of free elements. Also, I'm going to start with this one because I like how there's two different weights of lines here, but this is not exactly how we want each page of our book to look. So first of all, I want it to be just kind of a basic journal. So I don't want to have these additional boxes. I just want the lines. And I think we'll just do the side and the top line. And I don't think I need the word notes either. So this line we can bring up. And if you hold shift, it'll make it so that you can't move this out of alignment. So it stays straight. So I'll hold shift as I move that. And then we will move everything, all of these lines over to the side. And this one can be a little further in, maybe right here. We'll bring this one out to the edge. And then with each of these shorter lines, I will also bring them out. And the good thing is you only really have to do this once. We're holding shift every time we move this so that it stays even. All right, and this looks beautiful. It looks like a regular notebook page. Another option would just be to add a page here and kind of click on line. And you could use basically any of these other shapes to create something yourself. So there's lots of different options, and you can make the internal pages of your journal anything that you want them to be. I think that this is beautiful and it's going to work perfectly. Now, when you are uploading to KDP, you want this to be a full 100 pages. So what you can do is look at this grid view, and then you can click duplicate page, and then each one you can just do Control C, Control V, so copy and paste, and you can keep selecting more and kind of doing Control V. So we'll just add these to the selection. And then once you have a bunch, you can just keep pressing Control V until you get down to 100 pages. It really is not that rough. There we go, we have 99, so we'll just do one more. So now we have 100 pages. Oh, we actually have 101. We'll delete that. And they're all exactly the same. Those are our internal pages. Now, how are we going to make our cover? As a reminder, the overall dimensions of the cover are 15.475 by 9.5 inches. So create a new design, 15.475 by 9.5 inches. And what do we call this? Blue floral. So we'll name this Blue Floral KDP notebook cover. And for some reason we have a line here. So then I like to upload the template in here. And then size it. You know this full size is going to be that exact right size. So we'll just put it exactly where it's supposed to be here. And then you can lock this one so that it doesn't move. And this way you can just put your elements on here in such a way that you can see and make sure where things are going to be on the cover, and you don't have to be super worried about it. So I mentioned we were going to use that floral element, but of course you can always like design something here. You can upload photos. You can go in here and search like blue flowers. And then there's tons of just like beautiful watercolor graphics. So you could just grab a few of these and make your own cover. Just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to go ahead and use that piece that's already uploaded that we already decided to use. All right, so I'm going to expand this a little. I don't want the name to be there, and I'm just gonna put it kind of where I want it to be on the cover. I'm gonna use this exact same piece for the back cover too, so I just did a copy and paste. First of all, in Canva, things kind of click into place. So this is clicking like into the middle of the piece. You can also use some alignment tools, these positioning tools, however you want to do that. So I'm just going to click these two in the middle. And then there's a way we can make sure that seam doesn't look awkward, which is just kind of adding a little stripe down the left. Gives it that composition book look as well. So to do that, we're going to find a rectangle Here's a nice square. And the whole book is 7.5 inches wide. So we want this to go over the spine and come out from the spine about 1/2 inch or so. So we'll cover that and we'll make sure it's kind of locking in the middle. I think a little bit smaller. There's not like an exact size for this, but you want it to cover the whole spine with 100 pages in it, and then also come over a little. We'll just make it a little bigger instead. There we go. And then we'll want to make the color something that matches with the design. So you can use this color picker tool to pick anything. I really like these blue options, but it could be fun to do like a pink because there's a lot of these like bright pinks in here, and that could be a fun pop. Something like that, or even just like a little brighter, I think could be nice. So that's really cute. And then we can lock all of these layers as well. Because we don't want them to move while we're kind of adding this cover portion. Now we need to add our little label, so we will literally search composition notebook label, and there's so many good options. A lot of these are going to be Pro. You can build these with simple shapes without using Pro, but I'm going to use Pro. Put it approximately in the middle, and then we want this to be white. We also might want to make it just a tad, just the smallest bit off-white, so it's not quite as stark. This looks pretty cute. We can also add some things on it. This one has composition notebook on it, and so does this one. If you're going to put other things on it, you might want to put the page count or the size or something like that. We're just going to keep it really simple. Now it's kind of hard to tell the middle of this particular one, so what I like to do is just copy this rectangle, and I'll turn it to a color that we're not using. In position, I can change its height, width to 7.25 inches because that's the size of the piece. I'll select both of these elements, and then staying in position, I'll center them and move this guy over to where he's touching the left edge. So now when I click out of this, I'll delete that, and I know this is on the center of the cover, even if it doesn't 100% look like it because of this pink box here. Some of that you kind of have to just use your eye a little bit because is that going to look weird? Maybe a little. You might want to move it over just a tad, but is it going to look like it's centered on the page if it's centered on the other side of this pink document? And this is where proofing can really come in handy with these KDP books. So now we have the internal pages and we have the cover, front and back, looking really cute. So how are we going to download these and share them? Now you want to download these for print, and there's a couple ways to do that. So when you click on share and download, this one says PDF print, and it's best for printing. Yay! Crop marks and bleed are if your designs go to the edge of the page. However, this is already accounted for in the KDP option. I have another video on bleed if you're not sure about that for your project. So we're not going to do that. We will flatten the PDF. This just makes it easier to print if someone doesn't have a font or color or an image or something. It's just a good idea to do that. And then we always want to download in CMYK when we're doing printing. This is a pro feature. You can try it in RGB and see what happens, but CMYK is a much better color space for printing. And then we can download this. We'll do the same thing over here. Download PDF print, flatten PDF all of our pages, and we'll download in CMYK. Now we're gonna head over to our Amazon KDP account. We're going to click on create. Now this one is going to be a paperback, and you'll just kind of follow the steps from here. I'm going with English. I'm going to put my book title, so it's Composition Notebook, Blue Impressionist Flowers. I'll say journal here, notebook for women, wide ruled 100 lined pages. So use as much of this as you can. You can use a subtitle, you don't have to. This type of journal notebook is not allowed to be part of a series, and I don't need an edition number. I'm going to put my design by Laney, name for the author, and then I don't have any additional contributors. For description, you can look at some other ones and use them. I have this saved on a Word document so that I can just kind of copy and paste it in here and update them. So I'm going to put the title first. And I might change it to blue and pink. So we'll grab this. Colors are really helpful for getting things found. A lot of this is going to be the same. This is not a Monet painting. Impressionist style, blue and pink flower painting. And all of this will stay the same. Now I'm just going to say I own the copyright to this. It doesn't have anything sexually explicit. And then I like to put like 7 or 8 through 18 plus as my reading age. Amazon is your primary marketplace typically, but if you live in a different country, you could still do that. And then we can choose, we will want to select this low content book because it's like a journal notebook planner, and there's certain restrictions on that. And then we'll choose some categories. So like art and photography, because this is kind of art related, we'll say general. We can add up to 3 categories. I typically like to do an education one because I think these are used like for studying and stuff like that, studying and workbooks. So we'll do general studying. And then maybe you want to do like, sometimes I do business, sometimes I do teen and young adult. And typically I do this, well, I'll just do school and education because they can use it as like a study tool. And we can do our keywords. So cute composition, notebook, journal for women. This is like what it could be used for. Pink and blue journal, notebook, wide ruled, study notebook for girls, pink floral journal, flower blind notebook. These will just help it get found. And then this will stay the same because it hasn't been published before, and then we can save and continue here. It's not going to immediately release it for sale. I promise there's 3 steps. So we have to do without an ISBN because it's a low content book. We're choosing black and white interior with white paper. Select our correct size. We are using bleeds, and that just means that the lines are going to run off the page. So we have to use a PDF. That's why we download it in PDF. And then you can choose if you want the paper, that cover to be matte or glossy. So now we'll upload our internal pages. These are in our downloads, inner pages, and it'll just take a minute. All right, and then you can use their cover creator, or since we've already made one in Canva, we can upload our cover. Eventually you will see like a tiny bit of it there, but it's no big deal if you don't see that yet. We have no AI generated content in here. And then I would like to launch the previewer, and this can take a second. Right now the previewer is opening, and you can see how everything is going to look with your barcode, and you can click through the pages. All of our pages are the same, so we don't really need to do that. But if you have different pages, or you want to just make sure. So then we will click approve. And this is kind of where we were talking about some of this might get cut off, but that is okay. Beautiful. Yay. Perfect. Now we've approved this, and it's going to tell us what our printing cost is, which is $2.84 per book. So we'll save this, and then we can go into pricing. I'm not going to tell you exactly what you need to do with pricing. There's so many different strategies here, but just select which territories you want to sell in. I don't see any reason, there might be a reason you might not want to sell in every territory. And it'll select your royalty. So what I thought happened was if I sell for like $10, they subtract the printing cost, like $2.84, and then give me 60% of that, and they get 40% of that. That is unfortunately not what happens. So if you sell your book for $10, they take the royalty, 60% of that, $6, and then they subtract the $2.84. So for instance, if we were to do this for, let's say, $9.97, because that's fun, we're going to make $3.14 per book. If we did like $7.77, which I've done for some others, we're only going to make $1.82 per book. So sometimes this can be an interesting debate of, getting more profit versus making sure it sells more, because if you sell 1,000 of these, it's okay if you're only making $1.82 per piece. So I'm just going to change it to like $8.28. I don't know. Feels nice right now. And they're going to automatically convert that into all the other currencies. My royalty will be about $2 per book. And then this is where you can request a proof, especially if this is your first one. I want you to request a proof. Definitely, it takes a few days. So what you'll do here is you just click, we'll save it first. Click request approve, and then they will tell you you can order as many as you want and where you want to order from, Amazon.com, and I'll submit my proof request. And basically within 4 hours of submitting that request, I'll receive an email, I'll fill out an invoice, and then my proof will come to me. I have already got some proofs coming for very similar types of books. So if I were to do a different style of book, a different size of book or something, I might order an additional proof, but this is very similar to the other ones that I did. So I'm just going to save it as a draft, and then I will publish all of these once I get the proof and make sure this is good. Or if something is wrong, I'll re-upload some of my pages. So definitely make sure you order a proof to check that out. And then here we go. We have our 3 composition notebooks, and I like that we did the pink here because it's different. It's kind of a similar vibe to this one, but the pink instead of the blue makes it feel different and bright and still kind of cohesive with the other 2 options. So really excited about these, going to play with some different pricing and stuff, but let me know what questions you have. I think it's really great that in Canva you can create something like this, and then you could just re-download these internal pages as many times as you want. You could mix and match them with other internal pages, like we mentioned those, let's see, calendar pages. So doing a planner, or even just putting something like this with all the days of the year in the beginning of your notebook, or something, you know, putting some little planner pages in there. Let's see, here we go. With notes, appointments, to-do lists, grocery lists, monthly budget, just all kinds of things. So you can do so many different types of trackers, planners, notebooks, journals, etc. here on KDP. And I love that you can use Canva to just make that whole design process so easy. Now I'll be able to just copy and paste this. I can use that same element, this same element, and just kind of replace the artwork whenever I want and design so many cute new journals and notebooks. Let me know what you thought of this video. I'll have links to the KDP sites as well as Canva Pro if you're interested in checking that out below this video. While you're here, I hope you'll watch some of our other videos and let me know what other questions you have about using KDP, Canva, etc. Thanks everyone.